Hi, you guys. Ginger Cook here. It is Acrylic Painting Monday. I know you've been waiting all week for this again. We're going to be painting a really neat garden chair with some lilacs. And I'm going to show you a really simple, easy way to do it. And I think you're going to be surprised. I think what you're going to be learning today is a little bit more about mixing greens. You know, when does, is something an olive green? Is it a blue green, light and dark? And a painting like this, when you first look at it, probably looks a little challenging, but I think we're going to dissect it in such a way that you'll be able to just knock this out in no time. And this will be one of your quicker painting projects, even though it seems at first glance, it looks like it might be time consuming. But I promise you, it's not going to be. So, John, since this is a video where we are also in the live chat, not live filming. This is
provided connection's good.
Providing the connection's good. We'll be chatting right along with you on the side if you're watching our premiere. All right. So we hope you are. We want to welcome you to our channel. If you're new, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, I know you're going to want to for sure give us a like. I think we are faithfully your artists. I mean, John Little on the camera, my significant other, and putting out videos every week for years is kind of fun. You could help us a lot by just sharing the videos with people. If you find something that you like, don't share it if you hate it, but if you like it, do you know 3 people you could share it with? That would help us get more views just by you sharing. So that's something you could do. We want to help you become better artists and maybe teach you some stuff you didn't know. And we're going to have fun along the way. So let's get started.
Down to the canvas we go.
All right, so one of the things I preach all the time, and it's really get kind of preachy, is I keep telling you guys to paint something small first, get your design. Don't start with a 48 by 60 canvas and then write me and say, gosh, it's not working. Yeah, no, work out the design. Like one of the things I worked out on this was that I've kind of figured out the chair, and then the chair didn't really work out the way I wanted it, so I decided to change chairs, okay? But I like the flowers, the lilacs flowers. I like this old chair. I like the green background. Wasn't too crazy about the chair, but we're going to do a different chair, but make it similar. How's that? Now, I know that I want a green background. This is an 8 by 10 canvas, and we like to use our leftover paints when we're through with a painting session to just cover up canvases, and then they're good for backgrounds. So I have kind of a light green, a blue green, and an olive green. Can you guys see the difference? If you do not see the difference, I don't know what to tell you, because that's kind of a form, because you've got to be able to, that's one of the questions you want to ask, is tip number 1, what shade of green is that? If you look at my sketch, my painting sketch of this, you'll notice that it's more in the olive greens, wouldn't you say? There's a little bit of blue-green in here for contrast, and certainly there's blue-green in the leaves of the lilacs. But the background is more in the olive greens with a little bit of dark back here. And so that's the kind of the thing. Just ask yourself some questions before you start. Okay? Take a moment. It doesn't hurt to watch the tutorials all the way through before you begin to paint, because if you're painting and focusing on something, you may miss something important. So I would suggest watch this whole video first and then go back and paint it and see how you do, And you can always pause. See? You can always pause the video and then catch up, and pause the video and catch up. But, try to get a sense of how this is going to go. All right? So I don't want the blue-green one. And I think this light green is a little pale. So I'm going to do a Goldilocks thing and do sort of a middle olive green. All right? And we're not going to put the chair on immediately. We want to do the background and then put the chair in. That's one of the advantages. Here's the chair we're going to use, and I'm just going to use that for the design of the chair, but I'll probably leave the back out and maybe make this a little wider, similar to this chair. So I'm going to do a little modification, but this is a good perspective. Now, you'll notice here's something important to learn, is that, for instance, on this chair, see how this is? This leg is longer. In my picture, I didn't have that. That leg should have been shorter. You see? See that? How the perspective, it's like a box. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But in the meantime, I'm going to just put this over here, and we'll start doing the background. Now, John and I are going to try something new this time. Because this is a premiere, we have the edit capability, and we're going to keep this video down to under an hour. And I think you're going to appreciate it. We'll have fun with the live chat, but just keep in mind we're trying to keep this easy, simple, and something you're going to be able to do.
After looking at all the scientific
after watching it, nobody seems to watch a video past 40 minutes. We've been studying this. It's sort of it's pointless airtime, so we're no longer going to give you that. How's that? We don't want to do pointless airtime, so we're not going to do that anymore. And someone says, well, I watch it all the way through. Good. You can still watch it all the way through, just 40 minutes of it. How's that? All right, so one of the things, you've got some Salvador paints out here. And I've got a light green and kind of what they call a dark green. I've got a light blue, and this looks like a purple. Got some white and yellow, so it's not quite the greens I want. Well, this is my mixing.
See, we're trying something new as far as palette work goes now, too.
Yeah, this is what I'm going to use for my Stay Wet mixing palette. And this is going to, so I need some darker greens. Now, one way to get a really good dark green is to, like, for instance, here's our Salvador set. But say if you just had ultramarine blue, okay, which is, here it is. And I think I will put that in my, let me just put that here. I'm going to put that in my mixing set. Here's some ultramarine blue, okay?
Oh, right in the middle.
I'm going to put it in the middle because I'm going to use a lot of it. And I know I'm going to want a little yellow. So I think yellow oxide, if I want more of an olive green, yellow oxide's a good color for that, or ochre, depending on what you have. And
basically the same.
That's basically the same. And then I'll do a lighter yellow, just here.
What do they call their yellow?
This is the Naples yellow here.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty yellow.
That's a kind of a light yellow. And then here's one that's called primary yellow. Let's do that. All right. All right, so we got some yellows. And then I'm going to want like a burnt umber for more of a dark color. I'll put that there, okay? Just going to mix the greens here. And maybe a burnt sienna, because that's got red in it. So let's play with these colors and see what we get. If we want to brighten something up, we can. But let's just play with that, all right? I'm going to just stick those.
Put them back in your rack.
I'll just put them back on my rack here. Where'd they go? Yeah, right here. I just put them back on the side here. All right, so I'm going to start at the top, and I've got a larger brush. It's a 5/8" brush, and I want to just come on down here like that. And so I'm going to start with the dark, because I want a medium color. I don't want to start with the light colors. I'm going to start with the darkest color first, and then maybe the yellow oxide and a tiny bit of brown, okay? And I'm just going to come on here like this, kind of mix on the canvas like that. That's pretty good. I think I need a little more blue with that. There you go. So there's a nice kind of olive green here coming down. It's just pretty easy like that. Now I want a little bit lighter, so let me add a little bit more yellow to that. Just a tiny bit. See how I'm just, because I don't want it all the same, okay? All right, that's pretty good. Let's just come on up here. I know I want to come down like this. Now, I've got, I want something slightly lighter than that. So what I want to get out is the zinc white, because that will lighten it without making it chalky. Okay, that's called zinc white. And I'm going to just do the same thing. Let me just show you. See, it kind of lightened it a little bit without making, I know I want that color down in here. I want this a little bit darker, so let's put some more blue with that. And maybe the yellow oxide. Okay, so I've got this kind of darker here. Well, this is like a little bit lighter, but that's all right. All these little brush strokes are kind of going down like this. Okay, now I'm going to take some blue and brown, because I want something very dark here, more blue. All right, so I'm going to say I want something a little bit darker right in here, okay? And let's come on down this side maybe and darken it a little bit. Because remember, if you darken something, you can always lighten it up. So now, let's take a little bit of yellow oxide. Come in here, maybe this is still olive. Now I can see now that I want a little more blue-green, so I'll take one of their lighter blues and add to that. Well, this is one of the lighter, kind of turquoisey blues. And I still have, it's still in the olive family, but it's a little brighter. So I'm going to do a little bit of that in there. Okay. And then I'll just keep adding. That's pretty, like this. Now when I get down to where the flower and the chairs are, I know that basically I just want it to be sort of lighter. So if I take burnt sienna and a little bit of the yellow oxide color, ooh, that's a little bright, here like that. I want that, ooh, a little more green with that. There we go, something like this. I want little short overlapping brush strokes, okay, where this chair is and the flowers are going to be. Because the grass, this is where we're going to say the grass is. And then we're not talking about, really, we're really not talking about the rest of the background. Now, someone has asked before, something like this, well, could you use a sponge with this? Sure. You could do some sort of a sponge background.
You're going to get a different effect, for
You get
sure.
a different effect, but you could do something like that. Now, you'll notice I'm going to break some of this up with a few of these, so it doesn't look like just one long line of wall here. I'm going to break a little of it up, a little bit like that, with the colors as I paint it, a little bit more of this blue. There you go. And then back down here toward the bottom, we got it kind of a dark green again. Yeah, down here. Put a little brown with it. Too much brown. Let's do some more. I want more green. So you're too much brown. So let's take you off and just do a little more green here, down here at the bottom. A little more yellow. There we go. So I mean, that's how simple the background is. Now,
look how many greens you got without using green.
Yeah. So, yeah, look at all the greens. Now, what I'm going to do now is dry this, and I'm going to go over this one more time and lighten up some of this area because it's so wet. If I did any more, well, let me just show you. If I tried to do more, I could do a little bit, but it's not quite what I want. Does that make sense? So, then this is with the zinc white, and I could probably do a little bit lighter with the zinc. Well, that kind of works, doesn't it? Let's just do a little bit of that and just keep working it in. That actually works pretty good. Look at that. That zinc white is, people say, well, if I don't have zinc white, what should I do? And I'd say, go buy it.
Yeah.
That would be my recommendation. Go buy it. And
it's like having titanium white. Those are the two whites you really need.
Yeah. Oil painters have like 8 or 9 whites. So like, really, honestly.
Way too many.
I'd just be confused. I'd be thinking, what white am I supposed to use now?
Which white do I need?
What white do I need? But you can see where this is going to be nice and bright where that chair is and where the grass is. And you see we're lightening this area up in here. And I kind of have this idea. It kind of comes here like this, like doop, 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 doop. Yeah. And the more you go over it, you're going to kind of shove it into the background a little bit. You see, you don't want to leave anything too white, but you can tap that into the background, and you can come back with a little green and layer it too. So I feel pretty good about that. If I need a little more, I do need a little bit more that yellow oxide color. I think they call it yellow ochre deep in the Salvador. So get a little more of that out because I kind of ran out. But now, see, that's way too much paint. You see that? So what I have to tap that in there. Smush, like stomp it in.
Because you're still all wet.
Because it's still all wet, yeah.
Now, if it was dry, you could just wipe it off.
Yeah, if you got it wrong, you could absolutely, John, you could just wipe it off. So there you go. So I wanted a little bit, golder back there where these flowers are. And let's just stop a minute and think about it. We know we've got some lilacs that are purple. So why do you suppose we're using a little bit of gold in the background?
Ooh, I wonder.
Yes and yes. So there you go. I think that's pretty good here right now. So I'll dry that. And we're then going to trace this on, the chair on. And the traceables can be found on our website, Acrylic Painting with gingercook.com. You want to be a subscriber to our channel and an Academy member of at least an Orange member and above. Yes?
Yes.
To get that. So and that's that's really just we think that's extremely reasonable, and hope you enjoy it, because we have once you're a member, it's not just for this painting. You've got all the traceables from the last 2 years available to you.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so that's a nice background, don't you think? And if you look at what I have here, don't you think it kind of all is interesting?
Looks like you nailed it again.
Kind of goes, doesn't it? Yes. So here's our chair, and I want it to be. I think I'm going to cut it off on the bottom here so I can see where I want the bottom of the legs.
I figured you would.
Where's my scissors here? I don't know where I want the bottom of the legs. There, but there, that'll give me an idea of where I want my chair. Right, you want it just about a finger's width above the bottom of the canvas.
Why don't you cut off the top too, so you can see where you are at the top? Yeah,
let's do that. Let's really understand where the silly chair is going.
I mean, granted, you can draw it, put it on with Corel, wipe it off, and do it again, but yeah, let's give ourselves a fighting chance.
There we go. So we want this chair to be about like that, and let's see how far over.
About like yay.
About like yay. So this foot like right in the middle almost. Yeah, this leg of the chair. Not quite in the middle. Let's see, what's the middle of this?
That'd be about 4 inches.
Yeah, you're right. Let's see. Here's the ruler if I can see it. I love these rulers. They're so thin you can't.
We'll put them on top of the paper a little bit.
Oh yeah, there you go. Good thinking, John. Yeah, you're right. Just about the outside
like
of it.
4.5 is what you got.
4.5 inches. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Slightly off center.
Yeah. Okay. So that's good to know.
You're probably going to
inch, but... those are good things to note. Don't you feel so?
Absolutely.
So let's just tape that down. I like to use artist tape. Somebody asked the other day about frog tape. I don't know. I've never used that froggy tape. I think I would use it if I were painting a wall in my house, right? I'm not sure about the thing about artist tape is it's designed to not tear off your paint. You have to be careful. Like if you're painting on paper, tape will just pull the paper off in your paint too. And artist tape has been designed for that. I think that somebody else has come up with a watercolor tape. If you do watercolor in paper, that won't tear the paper too. I think Scotch has got a special artist tape. But for years I have been using artist tape, and I have to say that it's I'm going to just flatten this down here like that. Guess I should have waited to see if it works before I do that.
Well, it looks like it works perfectly.
Let's just.
You have the little ups on it.
Yeah, it has the ups. I just wanted to make sure it was.
Well, you think I could put the ups on the wrong side for you?
Yeah, John put that right up there. So, all right. So you'll notice that this chair curves a bit. Okay, like that. You see, this is nice. There's a curve to it. Yeah. And this part of the chair curves. Okay. And this is curved too. It's not just a straight line. I think it's important to note that when you're doing something like this, what's doing what. I want to leave the back open. I don't want to put the back in there. Of course, you could if you like that better. Here's our leg. I think we did that one. Here's our shorter leg. And this goes across here like this.
Well, in reality, they're the same length.
This is going to go across here. I don't know why they twisted this here. This is bizarre here. So
why? That's holding the seat.
This
from
here?
The back leg. That's how it folds.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know.
See how it's connected to the leg in the back?
Yeah.
It's a scissors type action. It's just like a scissor.
I know, John, but it's so bizarre. I mean, who has a chair like that?
Well, apparently they did.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't get it.
Rather clever.
Sounds like the kind of thing you'd pinch your finger on, but just
probably.
Just me. You wouldn't want it around toddlers if they didn't have any fingers on it at all. There. So there. That's my comment on this chair. But anyway, John found this chair. We couldn't, find the other one, so there we go.
I liked it.
And I have to put this back piece on too, this one?
Well, yeah, that's the support.
Oh, shoot. Okay, fine. Fine, you guys. We're putting on the supports. Probably want that little deal on there too. All right, so there we go. Let's see. How do we do? We've got a chair. I've mentioned everything. Let's come across here like this. We're not going to see it anyway because it's all going to be covered with flowers. So there. Oh, what a gorgeous chair. Look at that. All right.
It's a chair like no other chair.
So, yeah, okay, so put that out of the way. And just tuck the front on, just fold that back like that's good enough. All right, there's our little chair reference. And I've already picked out the colors for the chair. If you'll notice, I decided that this chair would look absolutely super duper in these kind of rustic colors because red and green are complements. So we're going to do a red-brown chair. So, these are all, this is not just thought out by randomly, gee, I wonder what color I should make the chair. This is all thought out. All right, now, just for the fun of it, because this is such an interesting curve, I'm going to go ahead and use this curve tape. This is called drafting tape, and it's made out of crepe paper. And what's neat about it is that it actually, unlike regular artist tape, it is specifically designed for something that curves. I haven't used this in a while, so I'm going to hold it tight like that, put it here, and then kind of gradually just kind of do like that.
Follow your line around.
Follow the line, okay? And let's take another piece. Let's see, how long do I want to make it? About like yay. And do the same thing on this side. So start up there. Like I say, pull it as you go. And then just follow the curve. And then take a little palette knife.
And burnish it.
Burnish it down. And as long as we're doing that one, here, let's do that side too, just because we're doing them, they're both curving. We don't need such a long piece for this. But again, hold it tight and just curve it. Okay, like that. I think like this. I'll just do this way. I'm going to make that curve. All right, now burnish that down. We can use this tape again too, so I'll show you how we can do that. But first we're going to, no water on the brush. And we're going to take this, we're going to use a dark brown color, which would be ultramarine blue and burnt umber. We're going to go ahead and paint the chair in here like this.
Kind of the underpainting to the side of the chair.
Yeah, and then we're going to do the other one. So it's going to end right here. Doesn't go down very far. Because let's see, where's the other one? It does go up here though. We'll
You
go up
kind of
this.
miss this little curvy up the top there.
There's a little curvy thing up at the top. Okay, so we'll do that part of it, yeah. And then for the other one, for the bottom part, I'm not gonna get too crazy, but we can certainly do this. And you probably could do this without the tape. I just thought I'd show you what the tape does. It's really nice for arches too. Okay, so there's our other leg. Okay, so now what I want to do is dry that. And I'm going to use it again, just put it on the inside of this. Where's my chair? Yeah, put it on the inside of this, like this. The same thing with this one. Turn it around so I can see where the edge is. Let's see, here's the inside. It's a little narrower on this side than on the other side. Not much, but just a little bit. Okay, now let's take, we want this to be in more of a rust color. So we're just going to take some orange, either cad red or something, or cadmium orange and a little yellow, or just something a little brighter. Mix it, a little bit of burnt sienna with it. And say, let's put a little bit of yellow with it too. All right, we're going to say that that is the I'm just going to take my brush and wipe off all the excess water if I've rinsed it, and just do this again. Same thing with this side. A little more yellow in that.
Going for really a bold color there, aren't you?
What?
Really going for a big, bold color.
Yep, I am. The same as this. It's really about the color on the other one. It dries darker. Acrylics dry darker. Let's take a little burnt sienna, just a touch of it. Didn't get bright enough right here. All right, so let's see how we did with that, shall we?
You did splendid. Wow. This is for those people that can't paint a straight line.
Yeah. And you don't need to. I mean, you can take the same color down here and put it on the chair. And you could do this with a brush too, just like this. Absolutely. Could you do it with a brush? Sure. But you know what? If that was a problem, that's how you do it.
That's how you solve the problem.
This is why you watch our show. And if you're an Academy member and belong to our Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting, we really, when we go into our videos at 3 and 4 hours and we really show you in-depth stuff, you learn so much, and then you have the advantage of turning it into a masterpiece with personal art coaching and send it in to me. And we'll talk more about that, but that's just some of the things you can know. Now, let's dry that before, because we really love this, so let's not fool around. Let's dry that. I want to put a little more burnt umber out. What do we know now for sure? Well, we know that, for instance, we want a little burnt umber on the underside of this, like that. We can use just a little brush for that. And we know we want it a little bit on the underside of this chair here, right here. And again, But I'll tell you what, that tape can be very handy for people who find that painting and their hands are shaking and they have trouble getting any kind of straight line. That curved tape can be, really helpful.
It could be the lifesaver.
Yeah. So this is coming around like this. And as it gets around the corner, it's a little bit darker. So it gets under the chair with this crazy. This is a crazy chair. I'm sorry. It's a crazy chair.
I don't understand why you can say that. It's a perfect chair.
John thinks it's a perfect chair. I think it's bizarre, but okay. Let's do a little bit of burnt ultramarine blue, make that dark. Okay, a little bit of there, and then this is coming out here too, a little bit of this chair. The sock folder in John feels like all these little pieces need to be here.
You want it to support the flowers. It's just going to fall down.
Oh, well, not before I take the picture and paint it. Oh, it's still there. It's probably good for a minute or two, right? Okay. So, all right, so I've got that, and then I'm going to take this burnt sienna, and I'm going to come up here like this and just put that in here for now. It's actually, we're going to age this chair a little more, but we're just doing that for now. Put that, we've got to put something here, yes? And I'm going to take a little bit of this yellow and orange color and just do the top of this a little bit, like a lot lighter. Okay, and I'll have this back piece here. I think most of it will be covered by flowers, but I'm going to put it in anyway. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we won't even see it, but that's all right. So I want some of this brighter color on the edge of the chair. Yellow and let's do a little bit of brown here. Kind of vary it a little bit. Yeah, I probably can use a bigger brush than I'm using, but that's okay. We've got a bigger brush. Let's see, where's the other one? Don't know. Maybe I never used a bigger one. All right, here's this one. Let's just do a little bit of burnt sienna and this color. Let's just.
And again, most of this is going to be covered up.
Yeah, most of this is absolutely going to be covered up. Okay, I want a little bit more yellow on this edge. Probably would have to dry this a little bit. Lighten stuff up where, acrylics dry darker, so occasionally you have to lighten stuff up where you think you're going to need it. And I'll just put this here just in case we see any of that. Okay, there we go. And let's see, let's do something dark on the edge of, well, no, I'm just seeing here. I'm not going to get too tricky with the edge of this chair here, because I want it to kind of peek out from underneath the flowers. So even though it's a fancier chair, we're going to unfancy it. Sorry, chair, you're going to get less fancy.
Mm.
There we go. There's our chair. There's our seat. Okay. Now, if you wanted to just do something, I guess you could scrape it or something. I can see it anyway, but you could do that if you wanted. All right, so I like that. I'm going to go ahead and dry that. All right, so before we get too carried away here with this, let's add some light and darks underneath our chair here. I want to put some more. I want some light around here because I know I've got some flowers coming through here, like that. So I'm going to just add some of this little bit of light color. And the same, I'm pretty good right here, but it's just really kind of wanted it right in here. And of course, that's all going to be flowers, but let's put a little of this there. And then I want something dark underneath the chair. We're all out of blue. It's ultramarine blue. The color I'm going to use today is, it's a little bit of phthalo green. I think I want that color for that's a blue green for our leaves. That'll be so much brighter. But all right, so I want a little bit of this phthalo ultramarine blue, and I want a little bit of a shadow underneath our chair down in here. That's too much blue. There we go. A little red with it. We're going to say that there's a little shadow underneath our chair. Like that. And I want something a little, now I'm looking at it, I want something a little lighter back up in here. Okay. This is where you can play with your colors. Take a little phthalo green and white, zinc white, and a little of this other yellow oxide, a little zinc white, a little bit of burnt sienna. Okay, so I want something, let's see, a little bit wider than that. Just going to pull a little of this lighter color down here. Break this up now. Just because I like the design I had gotten in the first one, and I want to keep it. So I'm going to just maybe lighten this up a little under here. A little bit. And go back with some of our yellow greens. All right, so far I'm liking this, just want to make sure I have enough lights and darks in my picture. And I just feel like I'm out of yellow oxide. Where did I put that? Because you can see how much brighter this is than that. I'll put some on the brush and wipe it off and just dry brush some on here. There we go. Just on the brush, wipe it off, dry brush it on. Keep your brush very flat.
Never makes sense to me.
Just a little bit brighter here.
Well, I tell you, if you don't wipe it off, you're not going to get the same effect.
Yeah, you got to wipe it off. It was, we had somebody argue with us about that. Well, it wastes paint. Well, no, it doesn't. Wasting paint is painting something over 16 times because you didn't get it right the first time. That's kind of, to me, that's my example of wasting paint. Okay. I just sort of put this up here like we're not talking about it.
A little bit of a glow.
This can do so much with the background like this. I want this to be, I want to put a little titanium white out here now. And I just have the zinc to show you the difference. Now, I still want the top of that a little bit. Still feels a little dark to me. So I'm going to do the same thing with titanium. Just lighten this up just a hair. That green color, and a little bit of brown. I get a totally different look if I'm using titanium. See, this will be just slightly lighter. Just will. Put a little of the phthalo green right over that. There we go. I just want to break that background up a little bit. Okay, so now I think I wanted to, up here at the top of the chair, what I wanted to do was make it look really old and faded. And
weathered.
Before I do that, I have to got this line off up here. I've got to straighten this up. I didn't follow my curve at the top. All right, so I've got some white and gray and blue. A white raw umber, and that would be titanium white, and kind of this gray color, more gray color. And wipe the brush off, and just say here's the top of this chair. And I want to just drag the brush over this. Yeah, I like that. Let's just drag it over this chair a little bit. Just not as new looking as you'd want. Maybe just okay. Just say it's a little bit. Let's just kind of age the chair a bit. Okay, just something, just a little bit more, and then we know we're going to want a little bit more out of a little bit. This is cad yellow. It's a little brighter than the yellow in the Salvador kit. Let's just see how we can bring that chair out a bit more than we did. Okay, and so then I'm going to say if this is this chair, I think I have to have something dark right here for the chair leg. Okay, there you go. It's got to be there. So I might have to brighten it up somewhere else, but we'll see. I think I want to do, this will all be flowers. We're really not going to see that. So we can't really know what we're going to do the rest of this until we put the flowers in. Right, let me get out my chalkboard here. We're going to talk about something. Here we are. Okay, so now I want you to notice something about these flowers. They're, depending on how they look at us, if this one like here is kind of looking right at us, so it's more of this shape, but they're generally kind of cones, and they're not, because they're bumpy. If you look up lilacs, you don't want a hard line here. You're going to have it do something like this with them when you put them on.
Very random.
You know,
use sock folders.
And then you'll notice that this one's got, look at this, you've got one here, you've got this one, you've got one that's right here, maybe it's looking up at us. Then you've got this one kind of in this direction, got one in this direction, you've got one up here. And then when you're talking about our chair, you know, here's our, you know, part of our chair showing, you're going to have these leaves, and they are shaped like that, and a little bit more. Some of them are going to be on the outside, at least they're going to be a little defined. All right. So think about the shapes of stuff. Your flowers should never be little circles smiling at you like this, where they're all facing you, okay?
Come on. Those are happy flowers.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and put the flowers on. I find the easiest thing first is to put the leaves in. So I want the white and the phthalo blue and a little bit of yellow. A little bit more white, a little bit more yellow. There we go. And I want to come up here like this and say, I know I've got some leaves coming up this way, and I've got something coming over this way, and so we're going to see some of that back. We didn't see it in the other one, but it's a little higher. So
is that a cat tongue?
It's a cat tongue, and I want some real dark ones, kind of in the middle up in here. So we've got. Like I say, I've got a leaf coming over this way, and some of these you're not going to see much in the middle. But, so this part of the chair here is all leaves. There's a little bit of zinc white. Let's take titanium, that's not bright enough. A little bit of yellow oxide. And the rest is just going to be flowers. Okay? So that's what I've got so far, and I'll just dry that. All right, so let's put, I kind of like this for a second. I'm going to just do something here that I wouldn't normally do. I like this part of the chair here, like that. It's almost a light orange. Age it up a little more, even up here. Since it's all right, I'm going to dry that because I don't want to interfere with my lilacs. Okay, our next colors, our lilacs are going to be ultramarine blue and magenta. And so we're going to put a little magenta in our mixing tray here. And we're going to take a little tiny brush, just something like that. And let's put a dot where they're going to go. We know we've got one that's going to come. Well, we know we've got one here, and here, up here, up there, and here, and we want one here, and we want one a little longer here. Can it come down? All right, that's kind of where I want them. So, it doesn't hurt to make a mark where you want them. So we're going to start with the darkest color first, which is ultramarine blue and magenta. All right, and we're going to just start with this little dots, remember? I would suggest, if you're not sure about the shape, Google photos of lilacs and look at them. Okay, maybe you've never seen a lilac, never had one in your yard, so never hurts.
Use your resources; they're available. Google's just a keyboard away.
It's going to be a little bit bigger one, a little closer to us right there. Like I say, we're putting in the darker colors first, and maybe we've got one coming up here too, over the top of this chair here, like that, behind that leaf. Got a little smaller one right here. We've got this one, which we're going to put right in here, just sort of tap these this in. And here's our, going to lose our dark colors. Okay, so we know we've got one right here. Right, a little bit one right there. And over here on the edge of our chair. And I need one right here, maybe touching, almost touching that one. Okay. All right, so now if I've said that's where these are, let's take some white and magenta now. Well, this is still wet. We may need to use a smaller brush, depends. So we're going to tap on some of these straight up and down on this now. You have to put it on a table, do it. If you're using this on an easel, it might be harder. Got to reload the brush every once in a while and reshape it. Do that. Darker colors are underneath, lighter colors are on top where the light from the sky is hitting it. Take a little bit of white and ultramarine blue now. Go over some of this. Kind of tap over some of that pink. No, we didn't do this one. This one, kind of looking at it so it's a little bit bigger, different shape. Okay, so now you can see that the contrast between here and here is what? It's the light on the, it's the next layer of light. See what I mean? So this brush is probably a little big for that. Let's try a smaller one. Just a little tiny white brush, no water on it, just a little bit of very kind of a 0-0.
All about layers.
Yeah, it really is, John. And people just want it like a coloring book. They just want to put a color down and say that's it. You know, and that's a technique. It's not the one we're teaching. How's that?
That's a good way to put it.
Now, if you get a big blob, don't panic. You can put another little something in there to break it up. Come back with a little bit of our pink. Maybe a little bit of pink with white in it. That would be the magenta color, would be what I would be referring to as sort of pinker. Now, one of the things I did here too is I also did a kind of a lighter lilac, in that they hadn't opened up yet. See that? Just with a little bit of lighter. Yeah, I've got a couple of those that they have not. Just say not opened yet, up yet. Here's one in here too. Got 3 of those I think I want to do. And we're going to put a little white on that. Remember, they can overlap. We're not doing stars on a flag. That's the biggest mistake I see when people paint flowers, is they make little polka dots like they're doing a flag, and then flowers overlap. Study a pattern. Go stare at flowers and see if you can figure out where the lights and darks are. Once you get the pattern, you will never forget it. There's a little bit of yellow in these. Just a touch of yellow next to that purple's nice too. But see, oh, we've got this nice bit of white up here like that. So now let's come back to here. Did we lose some white? Did it dry a little darker on us? A little bit right here maybe. Happens. All right, so we're going to dry that. So I want some brighter leaves now to kind of come out here like this from our just a little zinc white will lighten up a leaf pretty much. And maybe you've got one covering up the flower a little bit. Maybe one's going up this way. Let's bring that one over there like that. Okay, so we got some bright, like I say, little brighter leaves. Maybe something even a little darker in a couple places. I want something a little, like I say, a little bit brighter here. Okay, so just again, I want something just to kind of pop from this bouquet of flowers. Yeah, I want the chair a bit lighter here. Put that edge back in there. Seemed like a good idea, but I don't like it, so that's why I say watch these videos till the end. You never know what I'm going to change. So, okay, so we've got that, and kind of what I liked about this chair here was the fact that this post balanced this. Look, this post here kind of balanced that. So I'm going to come out. We're going to change that. I'm going to come out on this side and bring this out, because even though that wasn't the original chair design, I want to bring this out this way. And I want to light it wide enough where Even if I have to repaint it in again, I don't mind, but I want it to be out here wide enough where it sort of balances out the bouquet of flowers on the chair. So that's, sometimes you just have to think about that. Just that helped. I like that better. Because you know what it is about it is that this chair, that I don't have as big a space between here and here. Do you see what I mean? On this one that I did, this one doesn't have as big a space.
Your flowers are up higher.
My flowers are up higher in the chair, which is okay, but it's good, good to know that. And they come down further here on this edge. So we're going to add another flower. We're going to bring this flower down here on the edge a little more than we had it. This is why I tell you guys, design it ahead of time. Don't panic. Just, there you go. There's this one kind of hanging down like that. See, on the edge of that chair. I like that look. And I kind of like this too. I might need to have something a little lighter right here. But overall, I think that this is fine. This works. And this is just basically the thinking behind, designing a painting. And what you like about it and what you might do differently. Now, of course, we always have some flowers and stuff down here, but before we go any further, quite like what we've got, let's save it and dry it. Okay. Now, while we're talking about chairs, John, can you back out a minute?
Absolutely.
If you like this type of painting, we've got several in the Academy, and here's one of the most favorite ones from a couple years ago, was this chair with the books and the hat. This is a really neat painting, and this is a tutorial we have in the Academy. If you want to try, it's just for a week. We have a way where you can just, find a tutorial like this, just try us for a week and see if you like it. And
you can also purchase a downloadable lesson.
You can also purchase a downloadable lesson, but this is really neat with the fabric. You see how this is all stained and glazed, and there's a lot to this, but you can see how cute this, if you made them both the same size, maybe made a similar background, you could have a series of chairs. We have actually a lot of different chairs, garden chairs in the Academy. We really do. So now I'm looking at this going, all right, so what do I want to do to just sort of finish this up? What's our weekly release too, John? Did you look that up for me?
I did. This one should be released with, I knew it a second ago.
Yeah.
Let's see if this is the first one. The Egyptian Lotus Blossom.
Oh.
And I'll pop that up.
Okay, John's going to show you what the newest release is going to be. In the Academy, we always have new releases, exciting things. We understand that everybody wants to paint a car from Cuba or a flower from the garden, or we have so many different subjects. And some people say, well, I can't keep up. We don't expect you to do everything we do every week. Gosh, no, we don't expect that at all. We just are trying to give you enough variety where that you find something that you can be very happy doing.
And learn from
it. That's our whole goal here. Okay? Was that's what we want to have happen for you. So, let's see, I need a shadow under here, and I'm just going to, perhaps in this one, we might even do, I'm trying to keep it pretty simple, but we might even do, let's see, we had something dark back behind there. Maybe you noticed that. Right next to here, we had something pretty dark next to this flower, and just I'm going to darken this area up a little bit and just apply something, kind of stage the background here. So we want to lock you in the garden, and I want to put something darker as a shadow under this chair here, too. A little darker here, so that we feel like the chair is you know, there's got to be a shadow under the chair. You know, there would be. Just don't want to leave out your shadows. And then if that's the case, let's do something a little lighter right up in here. Just suggest some lighter grass, which we can do. Just something lighter here too. I mean, play with the lights and darks, you guys. If you don't see how that can make such an impact, think of yourself as the orchestra director of a giant music hall, and the white is, you know, when you're telling people where to look and what you're telling people to listen to. So look at that. See how we put a little bit more light back behind there and really caught that, right? Or we could put a little bit more dark right back behind this one and make that stand out, because your eye will go first to the darkest dark and the lightest light. Okay? So, I mean, I think that's sort of fun just for me. And then I think I still want something lighter on the edge of that. The edge of this, I think let's see what we could do there. Something, maybe some sort of light yellow, maybe something. There you go. Just something. And then like right here, let's just do that. I'm telling you, I showed you how to use the tape, but you have a good angle brush and you're good to go, right? Say, what can you do to, you know, brighten something up? How could you? Where can you play with the light here? Just what does that do? Does it bring it out? Does it tone? Do you need to tone it back? See, play with your lights and darks and kind of look and see, where's my eye going if I do where's my eye going if I do that? Where's my eye going if I do that other thing? You know, where am I? I always like a dark corner to kind of force your eye in to the center too. You know, there's a dark green, like for instance, dark green will force your eye kind of back into the picture. You know, and you know, this just like this did here. You know, kind of brought your eye back down to where the chair is in the forest. And that's kind of a neat thing to do too. So you know, you again, you want to ask yourself, here's just there you go, just a little bit, just something you can do a little something there. Okay, here's that. I'm just saying that there's so many things that can make or break a painting as far as what makes it interesting, what makes it fun to look at, why somebody might want to paint it. We're going to draw it one more time. We'll put a few little leaves down here on the little petals down here on the grass. And there you have it. That's your you know, and there you've got your painting. I think it's kind of nice. Do we want to do any, like for instance here? Could do a little something. Not too much. Just suggest this. Not to do much. Just suggest something's there, and then keep it simple. So there we have it. A garden chair. A very easy way to do it. Let me just show you what this would look like in a frame. And that's just a very happy cheerful summer painting, I think. And I see when I'm looking at it, see something dried darker. I'm just going to put a little bit of a light up here at the top. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. I had it in this one too. I want the things on the boards. Okay. I think there's a summer chair, right? And I'll sign it. What do you guys think? I'll sign it. Now, I hope you're subscribing to the channel. The question I'm going to ask you this week, and we're going to look at some of these when we get back and talk about them. I'm going to keep track of your questions and want to read them when we get back to a live show. And so if you have a question that you hasn't been answered in the chat, you really want to know something, write it down in the chat at the comments when you're looking at this video. Write this down, and I tell you what, it's I mean, if you're seeing this in 3 years, obviously I'm not going to see it probably as easily, but I mean, so we're talking about somewhere in the month of May
of 2022.
2022. If you've got a question, we would love to know it, and that you think that everybody would like to know. And some, a serious question about art. Maybe it's about selling your art, or maybe it's about, for instance, one lady said that she had trouble sending in her artwork for packs because she couldn't balance the color right. Well, we have solutions for that, and so we want to address some of these things. We'll address that maybe in the next video. I'm going to just do a few of these little. Posca pen is wider than anything I've got. Do you know that? It's just really interesting to me that it just is. We'll just do a couple of these right next to each other. Like that, brighten that up. All right. Well, garden share, you guys. I think we accomplished what we wanted to do, make it into a larger painting, 8 by 10. If you want to know, could I do this 30 by 40? Yeah, maybe, but please look up lilacs then and really start.
There's going to be a lot more detail.
You have to have a lot more detail the bigger it gets. So be sure to Google some lilac pictures. Go to Google Images, type photos of lilacs, and see what you can find. We'll see you next week, Monday. And I want to see some of your artwork. I want to be sure to share it in our Facebook page. So again, we want to thank you for joining us on Acrylic Painting Monday. And I want to remind everybody that our Acrylic Painting Club on Facebook is free, and it's a wonderful place to participate and share your artwork. We've got some of the most fabulous advanced acrylic artists as well as new beginners, and everybody's there to cheer you on. We've got some great mods to keep the talk uplifting and helpful. So here's a place where, and as an art teacher, I love to see what you're painting, and it helps me too. So a couple of places you can send it. Of course, if you're a member of the Academy, you can always send something in for personal art coaching, and then I really get to see what you're doing too. But I look at what you put on Facebook, and I'm excited to see your progress, and we get to know you guys just from the names of what we're doing. So remember, be sure to subscribe to the video, make sure you're Acrylic Painting with Ginger Cook on Facebook, and become an Orange member at least, and subscribe to our Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting. And we'll see you next Monday.
Ginger Cook, the queen of color, with a blazing brush at the speed of light, and a blank canvas, and a hearty yes and yes. The queen of color, Ginger Cook, and her sidekick, John Little, teach you to paint with acrylics.